Another video, no news, so let's go. Back to Railjack once again, and probably a lot more in the future. The Athodai is just do the point of interest on Venus Proxima missions and hope for the best. The distance that they spawn at can be very annoying. However, you can do it pretty quickly solo, my fastest solo time being 3 minutes 33 seconds, and my slowest being 6 minutes 20 seconds, maybe talking to chat about something there for a little bit, so maybe around 5 actual minutes instead. And to make it easier, just use a speed frame and do the exterminate mission. I did it with a speed mirage pretty quickly, and it's really not that hard to be honest. Enough about the mission. What are the drop chances? It has a 6.45% drop chance for each part, and it only has 3. A blueprint, receiver, and a barrel. Now, what did I get? I got 8 internal bleedings, 5 Meso N11s, 3 Lith C7s, 2 hemorrhages, 1 votive onslaught, 2,500 endo, resulting in 20 different instances of endo, 2 Athodai barrels, 2 receivers, and 1 blueprint, adding 220 to the workout counter. Overall, I think it's a B tier. It's fast, but annoying with the spawn distance of the point of interest. But if you have a good speed frame and a good railjack, it's not terrible, honestly. However, using it is kind of meh, and like the Ac Magnus, it has a passive allowing infinite ammo. But for the Athodai, it's only active if you kill an enemy in its weak point, getting 100% more fire rate, no recoil, which is kind of negligent to me, and it also consumes no ammo. But overall, it just doesn't do that much. It has a pretty good amount of crit with only 8% status. It has a secondary fire that uses the rest of the ammo in the mag for a close fire beam, and it also has a good amount of status chance and decent crit, but I just don't see a lot of potential unless it has a Riven or you build for either specifically the secondary fire or the primary. And the secondary fire isn't really that great. Plus, you also can't use the secondary fire with its passive active, so I don't know why you would also build for the secondary fire if that is the case and you just want to proc the passive a lot more, including with the fact it did just get an augment in this Nightwave at the time of recording this, and I also think that the augment makes it a lot better, but you need to specifically build for it because it deals with weak points only, making something like weak point acuity really good on it. I think it's about a B tier gun. I don't think it's terrible, but not like top of the top in terms of weapons. Man, it's been so long since I've been back in these missions. Like almost literally a year. But like I probably said back then, the mission was new and it's not bad. Go up an elevator, keeping it powered with the green motes, and it's easier with multiple people, but pretty easily doable solo. It also has a pity currency, which you get a decent amount of, and can get more if you do the little sisters beacons during the missions and defeat her at the end. All in all, what are the drop chances? The Cantare has a 4.63 drop chance, sharing that with 5 other items and relics, which have a higher chance along with endo. The total pity currency for the Cantare blueprint is 300 motes, and you get around 11 to 13 on normal and about 16 to 18 on steel path. Now what did I get? I got 2 Meso E6s, 1 Meso P16, A8, N17, A7, and K7, 1 Harmony blueprint, 1 Evansong blueprint, 1 Jade Neuroptic and Systems blueprint, and finally 9,000 endo with 3 instances of 3,000 each. I pitied the Cantare blueprint, adding 80 to the counter in total. It's also a B tier farm. I'll also be moving Jade down 1 tier because her pity parts are cheaper theoretically, but man, what was I on putting her in S tier needing 3 parts, and if you don't get them having to have a forceful crap ton of modes being into it? Regardless, but she's definitely not moving down from S potential. But then, where does that put the Cantare? The Cantare is a pretty neat weapon, and its passive helps it a lot. It, alongside the Evansong, kind of make it support-ish weapons while also trying to be its own thing, which they do that just fine since the Cantare is a little bit more special, sporting infinite ammo, and when you throw the Cantare, it lodges into the wall or surface you throw it at and a little bit up or down depending on how you throw it. However, on reload, it comes back to you, also hitting the people as it comes back to you, also activating its passive, giving you and your buddies 20% more reload speed for 30 seconds. It also has a 300% crit chance on its return. To me, that's nuts. And I haven't seen any builds or seen that talked about, but I think it's just nuts. It has puncture and slash damage, has a decent crit multiplier, and good status chance. I think it has A tier potential. The thing is, when it returns, it doesn't follow your cursor, but it goes to like a point on your body, so you have to shoot it a little weirdly around the enemies, and you won't really be able to get like a fan of enemies as it returns in. Sometimes you do. It's weird and inconsistent, but it's still pretty good to a degree, so A tier. Another video, another lich weapon, another TLDR. Grab a CD from a tech rot, hack the thing, spawn the tech rot guy, stab the tech rot guy until you find the mod he wants. Once you know the mod, put on disinfection mods to speed up the disinfection rate. Do these 3 missions to be as fast as possible, hope they spawn and stab them. When full, go fight them in space and get your heart cells to buy it from Eleanor. Now this applies to all the Coda weapons, so again, it depends for all of them. Moving on to the potential. This thing, honest to God, surprised me for a secondary. Granted, I don't think that much highly of secondaries, unless they smack harder than God, but this thing is like a mini Torrid with an explosive payload. It shoots a beam of corrosive that you can put any other element on, and on reload from empty, you throw 3 corrosive grenades and go back to beaming right after that. And it does a lot, sporting 50% status chance, 11% crit chance, and a 2.9 crit multiplier. I bring up the crit chance and the crit multiplier because this thing has a ridiculous augment mod, letting you get 300% more crit chance and crit damage by 30% per enemy killed. It is additive and has a downside, but the downside is negligent at best because you only lose 30% if you don't hit 3 people with the grenade reload, which, yeah, okay, but still, this gun is ridiculous, is a beam, hits a lot, doesn't drain its ammo. I think it's S tier. The pox to me are interesting because I don't think they're bad, they're just not that great either, because it's pretty much the same exact thing as the normal pox, just with better stats. Like, it has a nuts 45% status chance right out of the gate and another element on top of toxin, but it doesn't do a lot of damage, but it does a lot of statuses and leaves a cloud behind for a very short amount of time to keep proccing it. So it's a good status applier, but not the best main DPS type deal. Still fun and can be used to apply many statuses in a small cloud area for a short amount of time and has decent to okay damage. C to B tier. The Coda is also a gun. It exists, and it's alright. I also may or may not have had to do another Tech Rock guy because I accidentally bought 2 dual Torxicas. But regardless, it's like an infested handgun with a bunch of statuses like all the other Coda weapons. And it's pretty much the same with its statuses and such. It has a corrosive dot, comes with another element when you purchase it, and you can put a bunch more on it. When I used it, it didn't particularly feel all too great damaging wise. Granted, neither did the pox, but I feel like the pox's deal is a status applier rather than damage dealer. But the Coda is already outclassed damage wise easily by the Catabalist and the upcoming weapon. It's not terrible by any means. I'd certainly use it over the Act Magnus Prime, so it goes into B tier. This thing is stupid. This thing makes me happy. Dual Coda Torxica are a dual fully automatic pistols that on kill spread cold to 3 nearby enemies. Those enemies affected by the Torxica's cold take 50% more damage from the Torxica only? Question mark? I didn't test that out, but still, has 160 bullets in the magazine, 480 in total, and that's a lot for secondary. It doesn't really drain that much either. But also, there could probably be a secondary that has a lot more that I haven't used or have used before in this series that isn't the Kuva Nukor or the Epitaph, so Mainly the rest of the ones that I've used run out of ammo besides the Coda weapons minus the Pox. This thing, however, has decent crit and status, not bonkers numbers like the others, but you can still make this one hit hard with a galvanized build. I presume, especially since it gives its own cold procs after killing one guy and spreading it to the 3 people, making them take more damage, and so on. And also, again, it spawns with an element when you purchase it. It shoots fast, is not inaccurate, even with the big circle of its reticle. It deals a lot, can have a lot of elemental ties, and to me has high potential. S tier as well. Another video, another completion towards the series. And man, we are definitely getting far by the end of the year for sure, unlike last year. However, 3,730 is what it ended up being for working out at the end of this video, and I've done 650 reps, making it 3,080 instead. Honestly, I'm kind of proud of myself a little bit, but I shouldn't be because I just need to keep going. So, next video is going to be the EFV8 Mars, Epitaph, the Compressa, and the Kuva Secondaries. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you want, like it if you want, and as always, take care of yourself.